You just pay attention to those little things, eh? You get them. You get them. Brent's like, whoa. Did you guys hear that? There's a mouse. There's a mouse running across the floor of the subway across the street. Did you hear that?
Are you ready?
Nice, Brent. Kicking the show off. We should record that and I'll put it on as a button.
Do it.
As a button we can click. Hey, have you heard the new Avril Lavigne?
No, I saw the clip, but the sound wasn't on. And Machine Gun Kelly, I think, was on stage too, right?
There's a lot of swearing, actually. She had a lot of swearing in her music.
Oh, really? Like her swearing or someone else? Like Machine Gun Kelly swearing? Really?
Well, yeah, MGK, he swears.
I like that you call him MGK.
Yeah, see, there's a song called F.U.
Really? Is it literally like the letter F, or is it the...
Yeah, the letter F, letter U.
I thought you were just censoring yourself there.
Oh, no, that.
Oh!
I was way more into this album, like as you, I think, suspected following my review of Amorica.
Right. And Moneymaker.
Well, no, I love Moneymaker. Moneymaker was like, it still is. Like that to me is like, yes, the Crows. If I went and see the Crows, that's the only album I'd want to see. There's a couple songs on here that I'd be like, awesome. But yeah, but you know what? Overall, I felt pretty good. Just general thoughts. Songs are all way too long, and then I just felt like, I'm really starting to get over Chris Robinson's voice. I gotta take a break a little bit, I think. So,
well, it's centered around his voice. Really, the Crows is. Like it really is. It's centered around two things: his voice and the guitars. The first two records are anyway. Right.
You know what? I really liked it in Moneymaker, and I get it. That was more of their like, look at these are our influences. Our influences are bleeding out of this music. This one, Southern Harmony, they still show some of their influences. They're starting to get it gets a little bit of their own sound, and then Amorica is really like who they are, right? But as I learned from your podcast, Steve Gorman, this is his favorite album, but he says there's no question marks. We'll get to my question mark.
It's pretty jammy, right? It's not. It is like Moneymaker is pretty concise. It's tight because it had to be. It's their first record, and they had to play that game. But then it did so well, and it was like, okay, now we're going to do what we want. And it a lot of it is very similar. Like you can hear the Humble Pie, you can hear the Faces, you can hear, the Stones, and Free, but it's more kind of, at their own accord, right? So they do what they want. Like they jam a little bit more. The songs are drawn out. The songs are great, I think. But this number, it's funny because people say, oh yeah, this is like the Black Crowes at their like apex, but I never really thought that. I kind of thought this was just almost redux in a way, because I love Shake Your Moneymaker, but this album kind of is like this is really bad to say, but it was almost like someone who kind of overstays at a party, right? It was just like it was too much. It just kind of went on a little too long for me.
Yes, 100%. It's 51 minutes.
Yeah,
51 minute album, and not to say that the instrumentation and the talent on the guitar and in the jams isn't there. It's just I think it could have just ended sooner at times. And again, too, like you got to hand it to him for playing this music and coming out with this music in the early 90s when things were really shifting away from rock and roll.
That's a very, very interesting point. And I was thinking about that earlier when I was listening to this record. A lot of people, when this came out, were saying, the Black Crowes will not be successful because they will get kind of steamrolled by the Guns N' Roses and the Skid Rows and that sort of thing. But people wanted this, and this is a very kind of prescient example of revivalism, and people love revivalism, right? People wanted this record. Rock fans who were listening to Poison and the hard rock of that time in 1990-91 were clamoring for a Black Crowes, and that's why that record did so well. Think about Michael Bublé, right? Why is he so successful? Who does he remind you of? Amy Winehouse. Who does she remind you of? It's revivalism. People love that. It's a formula. It's cyclical and it repeats. That's why the Black Crowes are so successful. Okay, so let's go through. Let's go through the
that's all good.
The tune stack, as Rick Emmett would say.
The tune stack.
Yeah,
love it.
And go through song by song. So it starts with "Sting Me."
Good way to kick things off. Mm-hmm. Good rocker to get things open. I love the backing vocals, like that they do, like that Crowes sound, with the backing vocals. It's great.
Yeah, I remember hearing that for the first time and going, you're coming up, right?
They're back.
Yeah, but like you're back with a little bit more authority, right? Now nice. You have backup singers, and I thought that was a really, really cool touch.
Yeah.
I always was surprised at the fact, I found this out much later about this record. There were 4 number 1 hits.
Crazy.
And I think that Sting Me was one of them. So I would have never thought that, because this is an album that doesn't have a lot of obvious hits in my mind.
Completely
right?
agree.
Like maybe Remedy is a single. Anything else? Not. Right? But what is it? So Sting Me, Remedy, Thorn in My Pride, and Hotel Illness all went to number 1.
Wow.
That's a record. Tom Petty, your buddy, set that record previously, I think in 89 with Full Moon Fever. And Black Crowes broke it, which is astounding to me. Like I don't see that. I don't see how, the last 2 songs that I mentioned would be number 1 Billboard hits.
I can't believe they did that to Petty.
I knew that was gonna
let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. We're done.
I knew that was gonna make you mad.
I guess that would make sense. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Remedy. I'm not a big fan of it. So I don't get how that one would have been it. But I guess everything else was too jammy to go that route. I don't know.
Well, good point. Like I can see why. It's tight, right? It's in terms of structure. There's a little breakdown right after the solo, and it's like you can see how it was almost. I don't think it's intentional, but like it's a single formula, really, right?
Well, it's crazy because Remedy's 5 minutes and 23 seconds. Thorn in My Pride is 6 minutes and 4 seconds.
I know.
Those are long songs. That's
long singles. Yeah.
Long singles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
So talk to me about Remedy. What is it about it? Because I can't talk about it. I'm with it.
Just great everything, really. It's I think it's just it's a slick song, it grooves, it's powerful, like it catches your attention. Great vocal, I think. I know that you're kind of Robinsoned out at this point, but I love everything about it. The production's fantastic too, that lead is just so great. Like it just moves.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I think they've got all of those, like for a listener like yourself that likes that style of riff. I'm not a fan of it. It's not melodic enough for me, so I'm kind of like, meh. Yeah, and then but yeah, chorus is nice, but yeah,
I like the keys that come in too, right during the breakdown. Yeah. They have the background singers in there. Like it's just, again, it's that revivalism, right? Like it's that old blues thing.
Yeah, they sound great all over. And then Thorn in My Pride is a great, ballad, if you will, ballady type tune, that sort of takes advantage of the keys. Yeah, I enjoyed this tune. I thought this one was good.
Yeah, it's got that nice Hammond sound, and you can hear it whirring at the very, like you hear it starts, and then they go through, and you can hear it. You know, you hear that little. It's probably about like 6 seconds in. You just hear it kind of start up.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
you just pay attention to those little things, eh? You get them. You get them. Brent's like, whoa! Did you guys hear that? There's a mouse. There's a mouse running across the floor of the subway across the street. Did you hear that? I don't know. I don't know how that happens. It just happens. I think it's fantastic because then I get to go listen to it.
How about Bad Luck, Blue Eyes, Goodbye?
Nice tune. Again, cool kind of, the whole like, oh, let's bring the mics up and keep the mic in for that opening bit. That shit's always cool.
Well, is it Chris Robinson who says B&B and a little weed before the song starts, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it starts and it's like super vibey. Like this is the vibiest song on this record, I think. 100%. And you can hear that, like that lead that just starts and it's like you're just swaying, right? You're like, oh man, this is so atmospheric.
Yeah.
It's so great.
You can hear the Hammond start up at the beginning of this one too. Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't hear it the other one.
When I hear that, I can visualize these guys and there's like tapestry and those crazy carpets, and like candles and lamps with handkerchiefs on them.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just, it's very like dim and there's like incense burning and stuff like that. You kind of get the impression, right?
Well, it's funny, right? Like even with that opening line, like with the B&B a little weird, like then you just kind of like feel high as you listen to the song. You ever those songs where you just start listening to it and all of a sudden you just start to feel stoned?
Well, and that's a credit to the song, right? That when the atmospherics come through, with that much power, the artist has done their job, really, right?
Yeah,
I'm in there.
Yeah. This is nice. This is a nice cruising tune. Not that I'm cruising much in the winter days of Canada here, but driving my son to and from school, the song come on and it's country roads, so it feels nice, and the song just kind of fits right. It's like lose yourself in your own thought to like this kind of instrumental and go deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite song from the record, I do believe. More so than Remedy. Wow. Good. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I like it. And guitar is nice. Like a lot of everything around with this song is really good.
How about Sometimes Salvation?
Skip.
I figured you were gonna. It's a little bit overwrought, right?
This is the question mark
for non-Black Crowes devotees,
I guess. But like, at what point are you a Black Crow devotee? At this point, this is album number 2. Like,
well, the same guys who listen to like "You Shook Me" by Led Zeppelin or those blues standards. Remember we talked about that during the Zeppelin bit. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that stuff because it's just not. There's not enough. Action's not the right word, but there's not enough dynamics. It just seems like there's no peaks and valleys. It just kind of goes and goes.
Right. And I mean, like if you go back and you listen to Robert Johnson and you listen to any song by Robert Johnson, you thought you'd listen to the same song, over and over again. So yeah, no, I recognize that.
Yeah. People will hear that and go, "You're not listening." And I understand that, but it's just not. I don't see it that way, and it's just not for me. I do love the guitar solo in the song. I don't know if you've noted that, but he's got this really cool tone. Like it sounds like he's playing right beside you. It's like, whoa. It jumps out at you the way that it's produced.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but yes, the fact that it makes you feel like right beside it, like production of it, totally cool. Totally appreciate it. But there's not very much of the song that I'm like overly excited about, except I think probably other than the solo. And that's,
Yeah. Hotel Illness is next, I think.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Ah, look at you.
Yeah.
Harmonica, right?
Yeah. Harmonica, but it's also that like, stare it cold type driving. You know what? It's the driving. It's the do. Again, we said this before. It's the millennial thing. It's like, all right, it's poppy. Again, it's poppy, right? It's like
that's it.
But it's bluesy pop. It's the harmonica.
Yeah.
It's the intonation in his voice, the way that he sings it. It's all very,
Yeah.
Really, really good. Really good. I was going to say like Steven Tyler-esque, right? Like just the way that Steven Tyler, can move his voice. I really like. That's what I like about it. So.
Yeah, I can hear that. And again, it's catchy and it's snappy. Like I said, it's the verses are very attractive in that way, right? And it's just classic Chris Robinson. Remedy is the same, really. Just those kind of rhyming couplets where he's like, it's hard to talk with a Novocaine tongue.
Well, it's funny. I was just listening to, so I listened to Dude Looks Like a Lady by Aerosmith the other day, right? And, just the way that those verses kind of like, that's kind of what this does a little bit, just kind of bounces. So
yeah, it's like 1, 2, right?
Yeah.
See, I used to tell people the difference between hard rock and heavy metal is that hard rock swings, right? It's got that like Ragdoll is from that. I think it's from the same Aerosmith record. It's got a swing, right? Van Halen used to swing. That's why they were never heavy metal. But heavy metal doesn't swing, right? It's like one, there's no 1, 2. It's like all ones. It's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? And that's the difference. But this stuff swings. Like there's a swing
baby.
about it. Yeah.
I always find myself putting on Van Halen these days, Brent. Everyone's just a song.
How can you not?
Just a song here and there, man. Like, yeah, how can you not? Black Moon Creeping was something also that Gorman mentioned as sort of like, you brought up the fact that like his drumming is sort of underrated, and he kind of brought up this as one of those songs where he just kind of was like, something like Black Moon Creeping, whereas like I like what he said was, I'm like the center in basketball, I'm the guy that's sort of like, I'm there to get the rebound and assist, and I'm just there to be in the background, and just kind of make things happen or whatever, right? Like it's just a great way to put it.
I feel like it's great because he completely understands his application in the Black Crowes.
Yeah.
That comes through in his playing. Like it's terrific. He could be, it's funny because when you watch that Remedy video, he's wearing a suit, right? And that was his whole thing. I believe he's wearing a suit on the front cover of the record, which is weird because the other guys all look like these like kind of vampires, right?
Totally.
They're all like rock and roll, kind of like, their eyes are half open and they all look hungover. But Gorman has short hair. And he just looked like this kind of slickster, right? He stands out in the band. It's very odd. But only for his visual appeal. Like otherwise he's kind of like tight and right? He's just back there and he does his thing and he's damn good at doing his thing, but he does not kind of play above his station. Like he just kind of does his thing, minds his own business. He's a workman-like drummer, but he's got a hell of a lot of technical skill.
No speak, no slave.
Yes. I like it. But I find that it towards the end of the record, and Time Will Tell, I think is like an add-on, but it gets a bit sludgy. Yeah. But I guess, to our point, that's like the end of the record is just kind of, the track 9 kind of thing, right?
Totally agree. Yeah. No Speak, No Slave and My Morning Song are both. Yeah. Again, at this point, I'm like, it starts to feel like noise. It starts to feel like Chris yelling at me. And so.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. And then Time Will Tell. Yeah. Is a Bob Marley cover? I think is
I think so.
Cover of a. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't the cover from the first record was Hard to Handle, Otis Redding.
Yeah.
This one didn't work as well for them, I don't think. Like Hard to Handle was a massive hit, and one of their staples. This did not work in the same way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Whether that's what they were going for or not, right? I mean, track 10, Hard to Handle, was what, track 5 or 6, something like that? 6, you're putting it kind of either to start the next side. Like, it's got to be a blaster. I feel like this is, I don't know. I like it. I like the acoustic stuff. I like when they slow things down. They do things like this, just like, what was the one from Amorica? Downtown Money Waster, like that was, it's a great little like acoustic jam tune, with some, it's fun.
I do like that. There's an intimacy there in stripping all that down, and you do feel like you're in the room with those guys when they do that. And the Black Crowes are gifted when it comes to that. It's real stuff, and I'll go back to that point again. So many bands try to do that, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yep. I got no problem with Time Will Tell. I think it's a nice way to cap it off, even if it was a throw on. I think they probably could have. Well, it's a 10-song album. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So, where do you stand with this record then? Like, how would you rate this record? And we have to start rating these things, by the way.
We should. That's right. Good call. What would I rate this? If we're going what? A 5 system, a 10 system.
I don't want to put you on the spot. You can think about this, right? So you don't have to say now, because you're probably going to want to either listen to it again or give it more thought. But like off the top of your head, where do you stand? Did you just thought it was like an okay record? Is that right?
I give this thing like a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I could comfortably say 6.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than a 5, but not as good as a 7. So make it a 6.
I almost feel like I don't really understand this record as much as I should, or I just haven't taken the time to really, we talked about David Bowie, and I'm a huge proponent of like listening to the album, like shutting everything else out. And I don't really understand why I never liked this record as much as Moneymaker or Amorica. I just felt like it was kind of, I don't know, there wasn't really anything special about it, but I feel like there is, but I'm not, I don't feel it somehow. It's hard to explain.
I get that, man. I don't know really what this album is. Like, I agree. Like, I don't, I'm not trying to look at everything now as a Ziggy Stardust and how is the story from beginning to end. But, when I think of Shake Your Moneymaker, like I'm like stoked all the way through that album, song after song after song. Same. And this, I'm like, I've recognized that like when I hear an album that I really like I know.
Yeah.
Like, and we can come on and we can chat about these things and we can kind of get deep and try and get deep. But the thing that I know for sure is that like when I put an album on that I like to listen to, like it's going to go on time after time. And I could tell that with Shake Your Moneymaker that I was going to be it. And I could tell right away with Amorica, I was like, it's not going to happen. It's weird. It's weird. And I'm not saying that I can't give myself some time to get into it, because I know that's happened with some albums where I got to listen to it a couple times. Yeah. But I know that like in order for like a beginning to end feel for an album, like I can get that vibe.
Yeah.
I've come to realize pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. It just feels like this record drags a little bit for me. Yeah.
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 Just like my response to it. Yeah.
We agree. How about that?
Look at us. Hey.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. People like you. Oh, jeez, every time. You always get me.
The cap was on it.
No, I don't. I gotta say, completely off topic a bit, but you talk about, maybe go back and listen to it, rate it again. Physical Graffiti has jumped over top of Houses of the Holy as my second favorite Led Zeppelin.
I knew it, man. I knew it.
It might not be long before it makes its way to number 1, but Led Zeppelin 3 still holds the title. However, Physical Graffiti is now it's like an easy number 2.
So great. See, there's so much just lushness and like richness in that record. It's all there. There's nothing missing.
You know what I love is that like I'll put it on and Karina will be listening to it. I'll put it on. Karina she'll look at the radio and it'll say Led Zeppelin. She's like, this is Led Zeppelin? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I know. This is down by the seaside.
See, that's so great. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, oh, I didn't know. And like she listened to even some of the other songs too, though. And she kind of be like Night Flight, right? Like,
yes.
She's like, I just thought they were heavier than this. I'm like, well, they can get heavy, but you know, this is them. This is them.
Yeah,
so
man. So great.
Okay, do you have anything? Do you have something for me?
I do have something. The Who. Who's next?
Oh, who's next?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm into that. Yeah, let's do it. The audience agrees.
Yes. So who's next will be our next foray.
Well, I'll see you back here next week for the Who.
You will.
All right. Who's next? Who? The band on stage. Cheers.
Let's cut that part out.
Later.
Terrible joke.